right, y'all. Welcome back to the Beyond the Surface podcast. We getting into some heavy stuff today, man, but we excited. Thank y'all for tuning back in. I'm Leo. This is X.
How's it going? You excited?
Yes,
Number
sir.
2. we're in it. Consistency is key.
That's
baby.
the motto, baby.
Yeah.
We developing that. So today we talking mind, body, and what, X?
And soul. All three. You got to take care of your chickens out there, people. That's all we just want to bring this forward in light, just as men too. Like, it's something to talk about. You got to take care of yourself no matter what, who you are, men, women, children, elderly. Everybody has to take care of themselves.
No doubt, from the top down, like you said. I mean, from every point, from old to young, to women to men, and especially, man, I feel like it's not so much focused on because we're taught as a young age to be tough, you know, suck it up and
Rub some dirt in it.
Yeah. Rub some dirt on it, like shrug it off. You know what I mean? And a lot of times that creates a mindset to where people don't want to talk. You know, but basically, man, what is mind, body, and soul connection? Like, what does that mean to you?
That means, like, I think all three are like a triangle of yourself. Like, if you are stressed out, your mind's not going to be right, and that's going to affect your body because you're not going to want to do something. You're not going to want to like get up in the morning, and then that affects like soul. It's not going to be like spiritual. It's going to be just basically your being. Like, that's, to me, it's going to be like, if you're happy, you come in, you're happy, you're joyous, or you come in and your demeanor is, I'm angry, I'm mad, like I'm resentful at the world. And I feel like all three of those are just my pyramid, my little triangle that I have to keep straight and every day. And like, sometimes one's going to take away from the other, and that's not a bad thing, but you always want to check on all three. Like, especially as young men, and like in a lot of cases, we're taught to bottle up our emotions, like not to show them on our sleeves in a sense. Like, that could be anything from crying to like we're not even supposed to be shouting that much. Like that might be the only emotion that's okay to be shown as a man. But like, a lot
of times it's just that anger is accepted, you know, and that's not healthy for, you know, not only for us but the people around us in the relationships that hinders, you know. But yeah, to me, that's a great explanation, and that pyramid thing is very descriptive, and a lot of times I feel like somebody can come in and kind of move that pyramid over, and you got to do a good job of not letting them knock it over. You know what I'm saying? So definitely keeping everything in a balance. They all connect, so they all intertwine together so seamlessly, and that's why we got to take care of every single one in a manner that's focused. You got to make sure you're treating your health and your mind and body and soul like it's your best friend. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to be your own best friend. So the mind, to me, is like obviously your thoughts. You got to make sure you're taking care of the temple.
Temple,
you know,
first and foremost.
So your thoughts are so important because that leads to emotions, that leads to feelings, and that, to me, the body is so revolved around our emotions because it, like you said, stress. I don't know if you've ever heard of Joe Dispenza.
No.
He's like one of the people that I looked into like for like mentorship and things like that. And he's like a neuroscientist and like a spiritual, like he's a doctor in multiple areas. And he's all over YouTube, like just look him up. But like, he talks about how stress hormones affect the body and affects your emotions. So like, a lot of times when we're thinking in the past about something stressful, the body is like addicted to that stress hormone. So like, you can a lot of times be stressing about something that you don't even want to stress about because your body is literally addicted to that stress. Like, it's addicted to the rush. Like, it's not even
It's almost like a complacency. Like, is it like your body tolerance just gets used to being in that mental state?
It gets used to being stressed, and then it's that habitual thinking, like getting in that same routine of always thinking about stress. Your body literally gets used to that, and because of there is a rush of chemicals that go through your brain and your emotions. It's not a good rush, but it's a rush in general. So your body wants that eventually.
Yeah, just wants to feel it again.
It just wants to feel it again. It becomes an addiction. Stress becomes an addiction to where we are living a life that we don't even like sometimes.
Yeah, so overdoing it a little bit in a sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So that greatly affects the soul. And so, like I said, I think mind affects your thoughts. I mean, it's much so intertwined with that. And your feelings, your emotions, that to me is your body, because like how we feel when our body and our hormones and all the other things that go inside emotions are so affected by the body. And your soul is like how you act, like how your demeanor. You walk into a room, like what kind of effect do you have on the room? What kind of effect do you have on yourself? How do you feel when you see people, and how do people feel when they see you?
Yeah,
so
that infectious aura. I want to say it does make sense. Like, do you feel like one is more important for yourself? Like me, I feel like I get trapped in my mind a lot, and I feel like that's the most important thing for me to check on myself is my mind. Like, because I can get locked in there, and like I said, I'll bottle up the emotions. I'll pretend like everything's cool on the outside. It's like putting on a mask, you go in the next day, you're like, nah, I'm good.
You're like, I really don't want to even be here right now. Like, I'd rather be in my thoughts, but that's not how it should be.
Like, I'm in my thoughts. I know it's negative. Like, nothing's gonna change, but I put on that face, and sometimes you can miss out on processing stuff. You know what I mean? Like getting to the next level, getting to the next chapter. You want to get through that. Mm-hmm. And I know that's something that I work on daily. I feel like mind, body, and soul is something you got to work on daily.
Yeah. Honestly, bro, it's hard to pick one, because they're so tightly intertwined. Mm-hmm. And like if one drops off, the other two drop off.
Right,
you know
with
what I mean?
Yeah.
Right with it. But I think the mind is so important. Like that is the forefront. Like if I had to pick one, like if you were to say, yeah, I'm about to push you in this thing, sharks, unless you pick one, I'm picking one. So like or when somebody say like, who's your favorite, family member, like who you gonna pick?
Exactly.
That might get me hurt now.
Exactly. Might get me in trouble out here.
All right, but if I had to pick one, I definitely would say the mind though, because it definitely affects the other two drastically, to the point to where I feel like that's where it all starts. It's kind of like basketball, like your point guard, like, or your quarterback. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like that's where the most
everything
important.
Flows
everything
through.
Flows. Everything starts. Everything is initiated by that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's all the mental health and your mindset, the things you pay attention to, the things you give your energy to.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I would choose. Yeah,
definitely that.
Yeah.
one.
How do you feel like you operate like mind, body, and soul throughout like your daily routine? Like, do you focus on it?
I subconsciously try to focus on it. Like there were like you fall down the rabbit hole of TikTok sometimes, and luckily my For You page is all like motivational stuff. So it's all grind. I listen to some Young Dolph. He motivates me. But yeah, in the morning, like I even saw some things where like reach your subconscious brain and just tell yourself you love you into the mirror. Like brush with your opposite hand and just tell yourself 10 times that you love yourself.
Yeah.
And that'll put you in the right mindset to like go through the rest of the day. And that helped. And even like just like 10 deep breaths, just realizing like as a form of meditation, you know what I mean? Everybody has their own form of meditation. Be that playing video games, listening to music, like
all forms that help you relax and be present.
Yeah, because the good thing about whenever I was in college, they had me take a meditation class, and I found out like every single religion kind of has their own meditation in a way, but they won't straight up say like it's meditation. Like if you're in a like Christian faith, they say emptying your mind's bad, but if you only think about God in a sense, like him on his own, that's your form of meditation. And like if you are just doing straight up yoga, they say empty your mind. It should be a plain, and you're not thinking about anything, and that's your meditation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like I learned about other ones that like some of the native cultures over there, like Lakota and Dakota. I'm pretty sure that they did the same thing. Like they had peace pipes. That was their form of meditation. The sweat lodges, all that stuff. And you know what I mean? That takes care of your mind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sure,
like,
bro.
I
didn't know that there were different. Well, I knew that there were different forms based off of my like research, like recently.
Yeah.
And what I've been learning is like this, like going back to him, like Dispenza again, is one of the, like the meditation that he kind of preaches. He has like guided meditations and stuff. And even like if you were to not just close your eyes and like sit there and do the whole, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah. Like trying to do that same practice with your eyes open, and the practice is you're thinking of your future, and you're feeling the emotions of your future. So it's like if I want to work on feeling gratitude, or if I want to work on feeling peace, it's like why did somebody saying I can't do it? I can't feel peace. I can't feel happiness. It's like no, because you haven't practiced it.
But as far as your meditation, I was gonna ask. So do you really just close your eyes and you're chilling like in a chair? Or like
yeah, sometimes I get on the floor. I'll be like on the bed, or sometimes I'll be just sitting up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and just for like 5 minutes, it's hard at first to stay focused.
Yeah.
But if you can get past that point to it, that's the point to where you get breakthroughs.
Yeah.
You know, like the overcoming process is like the becoming process is what I learned. And like that's something that I learned from him as well. That's something that he says, Joseph Dispenza. So like those moments I've learned myself when I put his teachings into practice is I'm just learning that when it gets hard is like when it matters the most.
When you need to take a break.
When you take a break, push through that.
Yeah, because I feel like that's part of resetting. I'm the same way. Like I know whenever I start getting overwhelmed, I have to sit back and I do like the 4-second breaths. Like I stop. And then after that, I do that like 3 or 4 times. And then I'm like, okay, this isn't as big as I thought it was. Like, why am I stressing?
Breath
why am I worried? Yeah.
It's so important. Like to be in tune with your breath and just to take a moment, pause, chill, be like, that's all good.
And that's another thing that connects with the mind, body, and soul. That's your body like calming down your mind. And you're like, it's good. Like we're good.
Yeah,
like it's not that deep.
Yeah. Technique, man. I see the technique. Yeah.
Sending your chi every once in a while. That's pretty much what it is. And the different forms of meditation. I know there's a lot of different things out there, and everybody has something that will work for them. Like, don't try to put yourself in a box or like peg hole yourself into one. What might work for Leo, you hear, doesn't work for me. Like, I'll breathe. He'll sit up and. You have your own little times.
Pretty much. I don't think about me. If I think about nothing, it's kind of hard. I'd be like, I'm kind of bored.
Yeah, exactly.
So
See?
I guess my meditations are more so like visualizing and feeling like the emotions of my future, basically.
Yeah.
You know. So, and one of the things that brings me to is like abundance and manifesting. I found out that didn't really work for me.
Yeah.
Like being like, oh, okay, they say it like you already have it. Be like, I am wealthy. You know what I mean? It just wasn't hitting me. It wasn't hitting the soul. You know what I'm saying?
It wasn't feeling,
so like going forward, whatever I am successful at in this life, I'm trying to like, what's gonna come with all that, with that success? Like how am I going to operate after I get that? And like, you know, what's that gonna feel like? What I'm spending my funds on, what experiences am I fit? And I feel like I'm kind of daydreaming, you know what I mean? It's fun. But Yeah, I just didn't know all those different cultures of meditations, and I never thought about that. So I'm glad you hit those points.
Yeah, like it was funny because my professor was actually a rabbi, so he took us to like the Jewish temple, and I've never been in that. Like, and I didn't realize how close like a lot of religions are, and then how also they all use a form of meditation in a way. He like opened my eyes to that because we had someone read the Quran, and that was his form of meditation, and I'm like, oh, that's totally out of my mindset. Like, I didn't even think about this being like, and the Christian side of it, like I said, they say their prayers, they're only thinking of God the entire time, or Jesus, whatever they want, and that's their form of meditation in a way to like reset your mind.
Right.
And I'm like, oh,
right,
that totally makes sense.
We all need that, man. For athletes, is like you said, it's being out on the court, you know, and that's kind of a form of meditation, like with being in their own element, you know, everything kind of slows down. Mute artists, you know, like when they're in the booth, probably things are different. That's their form of therapy. But I think, you know, you just got to find what works for you, basically. And so that kind of segues into like, what are some of the when I was thinking about the meditation, the challenges of it, like pushing past that. What are the challenges like that come against the mind, body, and soul?
I think the challenges are the mind, body, and soul on their own. Like your body will say that it's sore and it doesn't want to move, or it'll say, yeah, we should probably rest right now. And your mind or your soul has to tell it like, actually, we're pretty good. Let's keep working out. Or your mind will say, hey, you're overthinking it. You're not good enough. You're not this. But then you go and do something else, like the breathing techniques, like I said, and it unlocks me again. And I'm like, actually, am overthinking this. This is not as heavy as a burden on one or the other parts.
Yeah, learning how to like weave all those together and kind of be like the master of that, you know, like a bender of mind, body, and soul is like, it's the tough part, you know, and knowing when to use what to help the other. Definitely. And
I feel like that comes with just learning it and being aware of it. Step one is definitely being aware of it. Like once you're more conscious of it, like the mind, body, and soul is a difference. It'll help you to overall make your life, like, not to say it's going to be the unlocking happiness forever, but it'll make you a little more happy and a little more understanding of the bigger picture, like stepping outside of your own mind yourself.
Yeah. And I'm not gonna sit here and act like I'm an expert at my body, so I'm working every day. Like, this is one of the reasons why I was so happy that you wanted to bring this up and talk about it, is because like this is at least right now in this phase of my life, the biggest thing that I'm working on. Like, we all have those financial goals, we all have those family goals, you know, relationship goals, and at the end of the day, you got to make sure that mind, body, soul is good first. I feel like before you want to go and achieve all these other aspects, because that's always going to be there.
Yeah, you definitely want to check on yourself first, because you want to be comfortable with yourself and check on yourself, because what you give to other people, you might not even notice it or understand it, but the energy and aura that you give out, basically your soul, comes from your mind and body. And like people will notice that you're a little different, you're a little off, especially if they're around you most of the time, like family members, close relationships that you might have, even work colleagues will notice it. And whenever that energy is off, everybody in the room will feel it.
Yeah. I mean, you feel it first, so you shouldn't even be surprised.
Exactly.
The end of the day. What do you think the concept of like getting down to like the soul, like what exactly is that? Because people define it as it could be forever after this life, or it can just be when you feel good.
Yeah,
you know.
Personally, mine is whenever I feel good. Like, I associate soul with like my aura in a room. I want to be not to say that I'm going to be every time, but I want to be one of those people that whenever I walk in the room, they're gonna know, oh yeah, X is happy. X knows, like, that's a good energy to be around. Like, I understand.
That's kind of a fine line. Because I feel that though. Like, you want to be somebody who brings that energy into a room. Like, everybody, I feel like, should be able to relate to that, to where they want to elevate the emotions in a room that's in a positive way. That's a walking a fine line of caring about what people think. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So we got to find that balance.
Yeah.
You know?
And I do get the balance, but like I'm saying, and that's what I have to cope with myself too. Cause like, I don't want to be living for everybody else. And that goes back to, you got to take care of yourself first, because other people will notice that. And that's why I said, whenever I walk in, I want other people to notice that, like, oh yeah, he's doing good, mind, body, and soul, and I'm gonna be there, like, to help you out, because I know that, like, I'm more comfortable with my pyramid is living strong.
Yeah. You got a lot of blocks.
A lot of blocks. It was a lot of hours spent on this, but I could show that you can get here too.
Yeah, bro. There's no other evidence like experience. You know, like, when you've experienced all of that time and effort and energy that you put into it, that's evidence that you can feel confident in.
You have to ask yourself how you're doing, to be honest. Look yourself in the eye, in the mirror, on the phone, whatever you want to look at.
Right.
Or even like in your case where you just sit back and ponder on everything, like your future. Just recalibrate yourself, recorrect your mental, your body, your feelings. I feel like for me, my body is like, if I feel sluggish, then it's not gonna make my mind feel good. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, if I was sitting there 4 days in a row eating terrible food, not working out, not even walking, like just chilling, then eventually I'm gonna be like, oh, this is not a good place for me.
Bro,
you know what I mean?
That's where that takes me to a whole another thing. Like, when COVID came around, that was a rough time for me, bro. Yeah. Like, you just chilling in the crib. You binging your favorite shows. Them shows is heat. But in here was like, you didn't even notice, just developing something that you wasn't. For me personally, I wasn't growing like that, because I wasn't working on anything, wasn't thinking about my future. I was just like, I'm getting unemployment, I'm getting paid to watch my favorite show. You know what I'm saying? I am good. Like, I just wonder, like, how that affected people during that time. You know?
Yeah, it definitely changed a lot of people's mindset. I noticed more people appreciate, like, spending time with other people too. If you really if you were an extrovert, I know you struggled during that time. Like, personally, I did, because I want to say I'm an introverted extrovert. So I want to spend time alone, but I grew up in a household that had like 6 people in 2 bedrooms. So I was used to having people around, and whenever there's nobody around, man, it gets rough. Do you think subconsciously you will have to work on your mind more, or like, do you catch yourself whenever you know, like, oh, this is a time when I gotta meditate, like I said, for my breathing, or do you
whenever my mind gets going about, like, per se something from the past or something that I'm stressed about, I just catch myself and really just, most of the time for me, it is like about a past thing, something that's already happened. I can't change it, I can't control it, it's over, you know. And I definitely try to, like, focus on, like, what my next steps are going forward, and what I want to feel, what my goals are to feel, remind myself what I don't want to, and just try to focus on eliminating that, which it's kind of, you know, a fine line between, okay, are you just blocking out your feelings, you know what I mean? But it's just focusing on what I don't want to feel and actually what I do want to, you know. So if I'm stressed, I'm like, no, I want to feel peace, you know what I mean? And focus on that, feel that, and do things that's going and act towards that. You know what I mean? That's when that soul comes in. It's like, what are you doing like towards that? You can't just say it. You gotta put the work into it. Like, if I was just to be sitting here saying like, yeah, bro, like I'm feeling the emotions like that I want to feel, and just be like, I want to be happy or I want to be successful, and then not doing nothing towards it, it would just be all empty.
Yeah,
you know, it would
it's
mean
just
nothing.
it's just words at that point.
Yeah, yeah. So
no
you know,
accountability. I get
yeah.
that.
So if you are stressed and you want to feel peace, like what makes you feel peace? You got to find what brings you there. If it's going out, getting on the court, and playing basketball, that's what it does for me. A lot of times it's been video games lately with the boys, you know.
Yeah.
That's therapeutic in a way to me, but for somebody else it could be what brings me my serenity, and it's playing guitar.
It's like painting. It's reading a book.
Yeah.
It's playing board games with a friend. No, there's a lot that goes into this. I mean, to be honest, the reason I wanted to have this conversation was because I noticed, like I said, it's something that everybody could work on. Doesn't matter if you're young, old, medium, large, extra medium, extra small, medium. It's something that we need to work on every day as humans, and it's just something that I wanted to bring forward in a conversation with us. I mean,
yeah, absolutely, man. It's a great topic for us to talk about, especially being young, and you know, a lot of young people don't think it's necessarily the coolest thing to talk about. You know what I mean? But this is mind, body, and soul. You know, this is everything this is the three components that make up a person. You know, so if that's not what cool, then I don't know what is. So yeah, man. I don't know. Did you have anything else you wanted to get into?
I didn't have anything else. I think that's the end of episode 2. I mean, be on the lookout for us. We're gonna be posting everywhere again.
Like X said, Gmail.
Okay.
C-mail.
I said that last time.
We're gonna work on the C-mail. We're gonna work on the C-mail one for y'all.
I don't know what I was talking about last time. I want to apologize to the people, but we will have it on all the platforms. Hopefully, sometime soon, you'll need to be able to hear more from us, and go ahead and comment, like, subscribe, put this out. Shout us out.
Send it to your people, your cousin, your brother, your sister, your sister-in-law, even the ones that you don't like. Maybe the mind, body, and soul, y'all can heal something up. You know what I'm saying?
And that's number 2. We out.
Peace.